to start with my stats. Didn't calculate my stats. Whoops. Hi, my name is Adriana and today I'm going to do my reading wrap-up for the month of March. But before I jump into all the books I read, please consider liking and commenting on this video and subscribing to my channel if you like bookish things. So first off, I will start with my stats for the month. I read a total of 6 books, 4 eyeball reads, and 2 audiobooks. Is that right? Yes, that is right. My eyeball reads had an average page length of 413 pages, and overall I had an average rating of 4.3 stars out of 5. So pretty good month. Really good month. Very good month. I'm gonna go ahead and go through chronologically all the books I finished in March, starting with Cuckoo, which I started basically halfway through February, but didn't finish it till like the first week of March. This is a book I was planning on buddy reading with one of my friends. He was being very slow, so I finished it up on my own, but I loved Cuckoo. It is by an author from the state of Idaho. I am a big fan of the state of Idaho. Not politically, but landscapally. I love visiting Idaho. Anyways, getting back to this book, I enjoyed it so much I ended up making a full review of it on my channel, so if you want my more in-depth thoughts you can check out my video there. But a short little pitch on it. It is an historical fiction that takes place in 1450s Constantinople, modern day Idaho / 1950s Idaho, and a future timeline on a multi-generational spaceship heading to another planet to colonize. This is a rather long book, but I enjoyed so much of it. The first half of it, not gonna lie, no idea what was going on. But the second half really picks up. You learn so much about all these characters you're following and all these timelines you're in. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was just a really fun read to pick apart and learn more about these different places and people, and overall this was a 5-star read. The next book I listened to was One to Watch. I listened to a large portion of it with my mom on a road trip. I was specifically looking for recommendations of romance books that weren't too spicy, because my mom and I both love reading romance, but our relationship just isn't one where we would want to be listening to spicy scenes together. Like, we give each other recommendations of spicy books, so like we both know we're both reading spicy books, but like we just weren't gonna listen to spicy books together. So this one was a perfect listen for the both of us to listen to together. It's super fun, it's super sweet. It is the story of a fashion blogger who one night goes on a Twitter tirade about a Bachelor-like reality TV show and how there is an utter lack of body and cultural diversity on the show. So she gets asked later to be the first lead of this show that has a plus-size body. She, after getting convinced quite a bit, agrees to go on the show, and the book kind of follows her trials and tribulations of being a plus-size woman in the national spotlight on a show that typically follows the same kind of person. So if you couldn't tell from that synopsis, it is very much a critique of shows like The Bachelor and how they portray the types of people who are deserving of love and deserving of a fairy tale romance. But more than that, it's just a really fun, good rom-com. It reminds me of back when like The Bachelor and Bachelorette used to be actually fun to watch instead of just a total cringe fest the entire time. But you get to see our main character fall in love with a couple different people in various forms, and it's really good and it's really sweet and I really liked it. Parts of it are just so like heart-melting and sweet, and then other parts of it are just really aggravating and hard to listen to, but overall I really enjoyed it, and I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was an e-arc from Net Gallery, and that is Portrait of a Thief. I ended up liking this one a lot more than I thought I would from the beginning. The beginning feels very trite or cliche, or however you want to say it. But anyways, telling you what this is about. This is about a group of Chinese American college students who get recruited to be a part of this grand heist to take back some of the artwork that had been stolen from ancient China. I don't know if it's ancient China or just imperial China. Pre-Boxer Rebellion China, sometime in China. So like I said, the first half of this feels very typical Ocean's 11, everything else, but the end really did kind of bring this up for me as far as rating. I think another reason I was kind of more critical of this book is that two of the college students in this book are engineering majors, or like semi-engineering majors. One is a mechanical engineering major and one is a computer science major. So I was very hypercritical of what was going on in their lives, just because that is something I have experience with as an engineering graduate myself. I enjoyed it. I had some like small issues with it, but overall it's a really fun time. It is extremely fast-paced, almost to its own detriment at times. Sometimes it was going so fast that I would like kind of get lost in the plot and not really know where we were at or what we were doing or why we were doing what we were doing. But this is also a debut for this author, so I imagine as she writes more, she will kind of find her footing as far as pacing and everything else. The next book I listened to was Know My Name by Chanel Miller, and oh my god, this book is so freaking good. I'm pretty sure everyone I've heard talk about this book has given it 5 stars. I'm no different. This book is incredible. I think every single person alive should read this book. It is so well written and so impactful and meaningful. So this book is the memoir of Chanel Miller. She was the plaintiff in the People versus Turner or Stanford rape case back in 2016. I was, I guess, aware of this case because, you know, I was a college student at the time. I just had barely graduated college. So I, you know, saw this case on the news, was semi-aware of what was going on, but reading Chanel's perspective was heartbreaking to say the least, and I don't know, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say about this book. She is such an incredible writer, and being able to take all of that pain and intensity that she experienced for the 3 years she was fighting this case and turning into something so beautiful and thoughtful and I imagine helpful for a lot of people out there is just incredible to me. I can't even imagine having the strength to put together a book like this, let alone narrating it herself. She is the narrator for the audiobook, so she truly is a testament to the strength of humankind and how incredible some people can be when they choose to be. It was also just incredibly impactful for me as someone who went through college in the Greek system, knew people who experienced the dark sides of the Greek system, and myself kind of struggling with helping some women through the academic investigation system and how it's almost built to protect these students and student organizations that are already immensely privileged. So it's incredible, it's heartbreaking. You need to read it. 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. So a little palate cleanser after listening to that was Again the Magic. I read this for the Shelf This Book Club hosted by Is Bailey Reading. We recently just had our live show discussing this book, but this is an historical romance that focuses on 2 sisters who are both older. I don't even think they're 30 yet. Their experience finding love in the stuffy high society Englishness. So this was pretty fun. It, again, like I said, it focuses on 2 romances. One sister, Aline, gets a second chance romance with her childhood sweetheart. The younger sister, Livia, is a widower and gets involved with someone who would be probably described as a rake. So if you're kind of into the whole Bridgerton scene and historical romance, I think this is a pretty good one to read. It wasn't my absolute favorite. I think I'm gonna have to dabble around a little bit more in historical fiction, but I did have a good time reading it and I rated it 3.25 stars. The last book I read in March is the only book I currently have on me in a physical copy, and that is Pines by Blake Crouch, the first in the Wayward Pines series. This book is incredible. I read this in like 2 days, which is like the fastest I've read a book in a minute, and it's just so intriguing and invigorating. It focuses on a Secret Service agent who goes to the small towns of Wayward Pines, Idaho to investigate the disappearance of 2 other Secret Service agents in this small town. And when he gets there, he gets in a car crash and wakes up with no memory of who he is and is stuck in this small town in Idaho, and soon discovers that not everything is as it seems and works to try to figure out what's going on. Blake Crouch, the author, acknowledges he was hugely inspired by the Twin Peaks series, so it definitely has kind of that David Lynch feel of don't quite know what's happening. This is a weird setting and atmosphere, but we're gonna keep going just to see what's going on. So I will definitely be continuing on with this series. I enjoyed this book immensely. I give it 4.75. I docked off a little bit for reasons I don't want to get into on this wrap up for fear of spoilers, but if you have read the book, definitely reach out to me. I'd love to talk to somebody about it. This book is so much fun, and I would definitely recommend it for anybody who's looking for a good mystery thriller that will just grab them by the throat and rush them through the rest of the book. So in my kind of final thoughts of the month, overall had a very good reading month. Really happy with all of the books I read, and I enjoyed all of them to varying degrees. But 2 of the books did mention like guys smelling like salt. Is that a thing? Do people smell like salt? That is never something I've experienced like ever in my life, and never something I'd like read about. And then this month it was in 2 separate books.
Oh, if I had a nickel for every time I was doomed by a puppet, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right?
Like, that's weird, isn't it? I don't know. Comment down below if you've smelled people who smell like salt, and let me know if you've read any of these books and have any thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next video.